You ready for some heads to explode? I have the man who is top of class in political commentary, Bill Maher. How is the old school liberal who says the Democratic Party left him in its woke wake more relevant than ever? And is it true? Is he about to meet the man he criticizes most of all? Bill Maher headed to the White House? For reals? Let's get after it.
Your process. People watch you, they see the monologue, and they can easily believe that, wow, it's amazing how we just came up with this. How much work goes into what we get to see?
A lot all week, you know. I mean, we're here at the podcast. That's my little break in the week. But other than that, you know, I'm a late riser, but I work basically all week for the one show. Real time is like football once a week. My old show, Politically Incorrect, was like baseball every night. When you do it every night, it can only be so good. When you do it once a week, you want to make it as perfect as you can. So, yeah, I mean, there's about 40% of, maybe 30% of the show is written, the monologue, the desk piece, the new rules, and the editorial. That takes, you know, many hours, especially the editorial. And then the panel discussion, that you can't.
No.
That's, you know, the topics of the week with people, and hopefully they're great on them and you can add something. But you know, I can't control how that panel discussion goes. I can control the written elements, so people can be guaranteed every week. I want them to feel like, oh, that's a kick-ass monologue. That was a really hysterically funny desk piece. The new rules were funny. The editorial, great, love that. And then, you know, hopefully the other part of the show was great too. But, you know, what we were saying before on the podcast, you can only control what you can, and don't mess your mind up about worrying what you can control.
How much does Friday's offering resemble where you started on Monday? Well,
I usually give out the editorial assignment the Thursday before. Monday, I get the first draft, everybody's pass on that. So, you know, it's a process. I like that I have all week to make it just the way I want it. I do a rewrite every night. You know, the idea sticks. For example, last week it was about, hey, Doge, you know, you're cutting all this shit. Okay. But what about the Pentagon? That's the biggest target there is, and you said you were going to do it, and
instead you gave us the F-47.
Right. And then the day that we were going to do the monologue, to do that editorial, they announced 500 and something million cuts. It just made it better, because in a $900 billion Defense Department, you're cutting 500 something million. It's just a pittance. So, but I had to rewrite it that morning, but it can be that close.
Do you believe that you are at the height of your powers?
No. I don't think you can ever believe you're at the height of anything. You have to always, I only look at the forwardness. I don't look past, or try not to. When I do, it's not helpful. And it's gone. If it's good, if you're thinking about something good in the past, it's gone. It's not there now. I can only look forward. So, you know, not uniquely, but fairly uniquely, do something, unlike most people in show business, that can actually get better with age. Most things, not. Definitely not music. Definitely not sports. Definitely not modeling. Acting, very rarely. But, you know, you have to be iconic by the time you get to 70. To be working at 70. De Niro still works. He's iconic. Al Pacino, iconic. Okay. But other than that, you're done. Sometimes you're done at 40. But comedy and news analysis is something that you can kind of lean into. Well, what I'm selling here is wisdom and funny, and I can still pull that off.
Pull it off. Do you recognize that you have never been more relevant than you are right now?
I recognize it now that you said it. I'm just going to sign on to that and agree. I hope so. You know, I'm the same guy. You know, I really haven't changed that much. The world around me has changed, and then they say you changed, but I'm the same, basically, old school liberal that I always have been. And yes, the left has changed a lot, and the right has changed a lot, and even worse in many ways. So I'm just trying. I mean, I put out a book last year, and that was sort of the theme of the book. Was I went into my past, I looked, have I changed? And I really haven't. I mean, I quoted myself from a Playboy article I wrote in the 90s that was basically saying exactly what I'm saying today, which is I'm an old school liberal, but you know, I'm not going to get on the crazy train with you. If you go someplace weird. I was saying to Maureen Dowd, she was here last week, that my parents, who loved your father, loved Kennedy. My father, very Irish, loved the Kennedys. I mean, been gone these 30-something years. I don't know where his politics would be. A dyed-in-the-wool Kennedy liberal Democrat, if he came back and saw some of the shit that was going on the left, and my Jewish mother, if she saw them chanting for Hamas, you know, I can't guarantee they wouldn't be for Trump. They're World War II people. I can't get, that's not who they were, but so much has changed in 30 years. I mean, so, you know, weird.
What gives you the most concern for our future?
Plastic.
Like from The Graduate?
Like in my brain.
That you think we're poisoning ourselves?
Well, we definitely are. Really. That's not a joke answer.
That is what your biggest concern is?
Yeah.
That plastic has fucked us?
Fuck me. I don't care about you.
Thanks.
I mean, I don't want you to die from plastic, but I care more about me.
Are you doing anything about it?
We can't do anything about it. It's in everything. It's in the air we're breathing right now, because when this city burned down, because of, obviously, nature, which is partly global warming, partly bad governance, we all have a hand in this, but so much that's just in our homes is plastic.
True.
That when so much of the city burned down, we're just breathing it in. And even before that, they said we were getting a credit card's worth of plastic in our body every week. It's in our brain. I mean, it's everywhere. Polar bears have it in them. Everything is made out of fucking plastic. And it's not biodegradable, and it's not meant to be in our bodies. And what do I really think is going to get me? I don't think it's Trump, although I obviously have my issues. I think probably the likeliest source immediately would be a car accident. And then after that, it's plastic and the air I breathe here in Los Angeles. You know, I mean, I was very mad at the Democrats when they lost, because I said, my two big issues are democracy and the environment, and now I don't have a champion for either. So you lost, and that's what you gave me. So don't be mad at me for calling you losers, loser assholes who fucked this election up.
Fair appraisal. Does it frustrate you that this place burned down as epically as we all watched it, and you don't see an equal fixation on what to change as a result? Not even from Newsom. And he's the one who paid the price. I mean, Karen Bass will probably pay a price. But
Newsom is on my show Friday.
And?
I can't wait to ask him. But I still think, apropos of what I was just talking about with the plastic, they haven't really released, maybe they haven't found it, but I bet you they do, how toxic these sites are. I mean, after a fire, it's always a disaster. It looks like hell. But is it really a toxic site? I think this one probably is more they are more toxic sites than we were have so far been apprised. And that's one reason why they haven't started to rebuild, because they're toxic waste sites. So I think they got to get that cleaned up if they can. Maybe they can't. Maybe it's in the soil. Maybe the whole fucking Palisades is the Goonies.
But don't you think that they should be obsessed with how to do things differently? And you don't even hear them talking about it.
Well, you certainly hear Newsom talking about it. He said, he's just started this podcast. I'm sure you heard that. He said he was modeling it on what I do on Real Time. He said, I want to talk to other people. His first guest was Charlie Kirk, who could be not more be on the other side. I like this. I like the new Newsom. I've been asking for this Newsom for a long time. So I think he's a great candidate if he was more of a centrist Democrat, and he seems like he wants to be. So I think it's great, and I can't wait till Friday and talk to him.
I can't wait to see what he says about what he's got working to make that not happen again when the fires come again.
Well, the whole thing is about this state is just so fucked with over taxes and over regulation.
Sure.
I mean, I last time he was on, I was, kidding him about the fact that I took 3 years to get my solar power turned on. Now I just had my roof redone because of the fires, because now I want a fireproof roof. 2 inspections, and you have to pay for those inspections, They're not free. And I asked this on the show last week. I see it got picked up by a lot of people. Why do I have to have inspectors looking at my roof? It's my roof. If it falls on my head, that's my problem. I don't need the government looking over my shoulder here. And this is why we can't get anything done in this state. The government is just too in our fucking business. And he was on last January, and I asked him about this and the red tape, and he had a big answer about, well, we're blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm going to find out what the exact blah, 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 blah was, and see now that it's a year and 3 months later, what's been done. Because if it's nothing, that's not good enough.
It's hard for people in power to not use the power. And that's where regulation comes from. Some of it is obviously necessary.
They've got to cut the red tape. This is a blue state that runs completely on red tape.
Well, look, you can have a whole conversation with him about what he's doing with Medicaid. You guys give a lot of services to a lot of people who aren't legally in the state. And yes, you have a lot of people who are illegal in the country, but you got stuff to talk about. Let me ask you this, last question. You're going to meet with the president.
I am?
So Kid Rock makes it happen. What do you think has been the response so far? What do you think it will be, and why are you doing it? Which I'm totally for, by the way, and I love it.
I get it. Well, I'm doing it because, first of all, it was presented as
a dare.
not a dare. No, just maybe this is a beginning to heal America. No, I don't have some sort of complex where I think I can heal America. I can't. Okay, let's get that clear. I'm not going to be healing America. But if 2 guys who've been at each other for so long, it's kind of a Nixon to China thing. I have the credentials. There was nobody who was harder on Trump or more prescient about the fact that he wasn't going to leave office voluntarily than I was. I feel like I have the credentials. But they also respect me because I'm honest about the woke train to crazy town. And I don't shrink from that. And I've also lost a lot of fans for that. The woke people have left the building, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice. But it does give you a certain credibility. So I just think to meet somebody, first of all, it's an honor to be invited to the White House.
Yes, it is.
And I've already had a couple of people who I said to them, I'm just going to take it as a backhanded compliment that you glide right past the idea that little Bill Maher from Rivervale, New Jersey, just a humble kid from the suburbs, was invited for a private dinner to the White House. You glide right past that to how dare you talk to him, and that you're not impressed by it at all. I'm impressed by it a lot. I'm impressed the fuck out of it. I get to go to the White House. And yes, that is the structure of this dinner, is just let's talk. Let's talk to each other face to face. Let's not stop shouting from 3,000 miles away, you know? So if they expect me to be leaving in a MAGA hat, they're going to be very disappointed, but I know they don't. And I think it's going to be, you know, look, it probably will accomplish very little, but you got to try, man. You got to try.
I love it. You know Kanye. Bill Maher, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Love being with you, bud.
Yeah, this was so much fun.
And I love that you're going. I think it's great. For exactly.
It is great, isn't it?
100%.
Yes.
And I will celebrate it when it happens.
Great. I appreciate that.
That is Real Talk with the man who is the master at real time, Bill Maher. I can't wait to see what the meeting is like, what we hear about it, what's said afterwards, and of course, just how crazy it makes people for all the wrong reasons. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.